Good afternoon, everybody. It's full review time. Today we're going to be reviewing the Peña Knives Apache. This is a slip joint variation. This is a K390 blade steel with a Knifecenter Exclusive micarta. This is orange micarta, and then this is a black micarta, and it's just really nice, really handsome. Sheep's foot style blade. Honestly, I don't know how to review this one because, you know, the action is just got a half stop right here. It's got decent walk and talk. I'm not I'm not a slip joint guy, but this one really does put a smile on my face. Every time I go to use it, I can count on the K390 to have the edge that I put on it like 3 weeks ago. You know what I mean? Even now we're catching the fingernail. It's sticking, except right at the tip. But I think that's the portion of the blade that gets used the most. But even still, the other day I was using it to cut open burlap, as well as weed mat for flower beds, and this thing was just like butter. It was just slicing through the weed mat. I haven't really used this thing for food prep. I don't cut apples with this thing. I don't cut fruit or anything, just because I am scared to over patina the K390. And like, let's take a look. Sorry, let's try to get out of the shot. Let's see. You're not gonna be able to really tell. But there's not a lot of patina on it. All that is just wear. I could probably wipe that off with a little bit of alcohol, but yeah, no, this knife has been very good. How I was carrying it was like in my Tale of Knives Bandit or in a Paradrop Leather Triari. More recently, I have been loving carrying it in my belt sheath that I got from a local leather maker named Lee Elmer's. So this is pretty cool stuff. I really like this one. This is an airbrushed sheath, I believe, and it's already starting to take a nice patina. And so this is just a good secondary knife to have. Let's say I'm carrying like a Demco 8020.5 and I'm in an office setting, because there are times where I am and they need me to cut something open. It's nice to pull this out, and it's just an old classic style slip joint. Now this is made in China. This is not made in the United States, which is really unfortunate because I think Peña needs to start making more traditionals again. His front flippers are great. I own one of his custom front flippers, and I also own one of his production model. Goodness gracious, this thing is in here. I got a new sheath, so I'm trying to get it out, but it is a bit of a pain. Anyways, there we go. So he makes front flippers like this more often than not now, and so this is a really good one, and I'll kind of get into a review on this one as well, but we're kind of sticking with the slip joint. I love Peña, Enrique Peña, and Riot Knives was a match made in heaven. I feel like Enrique Peña's design language really speaks to my soul. A lot of what he does is just amazing. He cut his teeth doing traditionals. Sorry, forgive me. Making traditional knives. And so now the design language from Peña to Riot, it just makes sense. They've got great communication. There's a good flow. They know what Enrique wants when it comes to executing some of his designs. And this one's really great because if I were to happen to be sweating or get wet, the micarta is going to be just grippy enough for a good purchase. And it's got nice ergonomics. It is just a standard traditional knife. It's got a very generous sharpening choil, so that's really good. However, you can get caught inside of there if you're cutting paper or if you're cutting something, but so just be sure to stay on the bevel when cutting. It does have a nail nick, although I very seldom use it. I usually just use friction from my fingers to open up the blade. So there is that. I did have some blade play issues, but I tightened up the pivot and it pretty much is non-existent now, and the centering is also still pretty decent. So really good knife. I really love it. I really enjoy it. The highest high on this particular knife is the heirloom factor. The heirloom factor on this knife is so strong. I think it's a 10 out of 10, honestly, because not only will the K390 patina over time, but so will the micarta, and this is a knife that I would quite comfortably hand down to one of my sons. This is the knife that your daddy carried, you know, every day for work. Maybe not every single day, but because I'm a knife reviewer, but no. Like I said, I carry it as a backup knife, so while I'm reviewing a knife, this will be on my belt more often than not as a secondary. Instead of in my back left pocket, it's on my belt, and I really appreciate that. And it's always there. It's always in this slip. The only time I'll change it out is if, let's say I'm at like church or at a very, or a date night, I'll carry my custom in the same sheath, and it gets the job done just as well. However, when it comes to work and being out in the field, this is the one that they can say, yeah, my daddy carried this one every day to work with him. Whenever I'm ready to pass this along, whether I pass away or whether it's just that time for my sons to take that next step into adulthood by giving them a really good pocket knife that they're going to take care of. Because this one, as far as Peña production knives go, this one was actually relatively cheap because you're not having to do the manufacturing on a liner lock. You're not having to do manufacturing on scales and micarta and bearings and stuff like that. You're not having to do all that as far as the production goes. Sorry, my hair. This one actually came out to about like $130 retail, plus taxes and shipping and stuff like that. It came out to about $150 or so from what I can remember, and that's pretty cheap for a Peña production. Was it 100? I believe so. Maybe it was 2. It's been a while since I've gotten this knife. I'd have to go back and look at Knifecenter, and this was a Knifecenter exclusive. They stayed on the site for a while, but now they're all but sold out, and I think a friend of mine, he was able to sell his for significantly more than the retail price, because now these production level slip joints in the Apache pattern are in high demand. You can probably expect them to stay on the secondary market for like a day less. They'll sell out pretty quick. I don't plan on selling this one. Like I said, the heirloom factor is way too strong, and for me it was a relatively cheap knife, and like I said, it's in K390 steel, so that's also really special. It was one of the first times that Riot went outside of M390, went outside of like S35VN, 14C28N or something like that, 20CV. So that's pretty cool. And I will also say, if you don't follow Transparent Knives on Instagram, he has done the, what is it you call it, the Rockwell hardness test. He's done it on 2 Peña K390 slip joints, and they're both over like 63 Rockwell hardness. So not only are you getting K390, but you're getting it at a, what we're gonna call good heat treat. I don't know what the ideal heat treat is for this. I do believe Brian over at Transparent Knives said he would like to see it a little higher, but he also did give Riot a good kudos to trying to go above their regular M390 heat treat, which I think he believes is subpar for M390, which, you know, whatever your opinion falls on that, it's your opinion. But no, you do get a decently well heat treated K390 at that. So yeah, this is my full review on this knife. The ergonomics are great, nice and neutral. As far as going in and out of pocket, I carry it in a slip, so you do have to have like a double action taking the slip out of your pocket. That's pretty much why I got this, so that way I didn't have to take a slip out of my pocket and take the knife out of the slip and then unfold the knife and then put the slip back into your pocket, use the knife, take the slip out, or leave it on the counter, or there's just a lot to do. So this really comes in handy for that. And like I said, we're not going to do any size comparisons. It's a very small knife. It is the exact same length dimensions, handle dimensions, sorry, that's my dog, as his regular production knives. So whenever I got this knife, I also had a Peña dog leg, which is a very the dog leg sat on the shelves for a while, and I really regret letting mine go. But anyways, and they're the exact same dimensions as far as blade length, handle length, open length, close length. The only dimension that's different is the thinness. This one's slightly thinner since you're not having to compensate for a liner or bearings. So it's slightly thinner. However, it is wider in this dimension from here to here. And I believe that has something to do with the spring. We'll open them up. And so, like, here's a comparison. You can tell that the custom is thicker, and that's about how thick they are in the production models. And then this way, going from this way to this way, you can tell that the blade profile is a little wider, sticks out a little bit more, and I believe that's because you're not. Honestly, I don't know. It's probably because of the spring, the spring on this one. But yeah. I'll get a full review on this one sometime soon. I'm sorry, I'm doing this one with my left hand, so I'm not quite used to it yet. This one has come along pretty good too. So glad to own it. If I've ever wanted a Peña, it would either be this specific one or like a Greg Hansen green micarta trapper of some sort, which my friend Damien just purchased one, so I'm pretty excited for him. So yeah, this one's pretty good as well. I love the hand rub satin on it. I'm sorry, I just got a flex on it. You guys aren't going to get it very good. Sorry. You're not going to be able to see it too well in the lighting that I have right now. But anyways, it is a satin grind as well. I did forget to mention that. It is a Riot satin grind. So yeah, that's good. The titanium is really good. And I believe the spring is K390 as well. If not, it's a different stainless steel that's just as hard as the K390, because when I first got it, you're not going to be able to see this. Oh goodness, there's a little bit of wear right here where the blade meets the spring. There's a little bit of wear, and that's because I was opening and closing it like more than I needed to, and there was a little bit of wear where the blade is, but I think over time it's pretty much leveled itself out. So yeah, that is my full review of the Peña Knives Apache slip joint in K390. It was a Knifecenter exclusive. So if you guys see one and you're interested, know that you're getting a good knife, especially for the heat treat. And if you can get it in this pattern with the micarta, you're sitting on, you know, if you wanted to resell it, you could probably mark it up almost $100 from what you originally purchased it. And if not, you know, you could definitely get a good trade off of it. But me personally, I'm keeping mine. So that's all I have for you guys today. We will try to holla back at you with another review sometime soon. Thanks guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment below, comment your opinions on traditional knives. This is my first traditional knife review, so I'm a little nervous because I know that the traditional knife connoisseurs, they can be pretty enthusiastic. So yeah, thanks guys, appreciate it. Bye now.